Afternoon everybody. Time for something I don't get around to doing very often, mainly because it's so awkward to get out and about and actually shoot and video at the same time. Doing one or the other is easy enough, but both together quite awkward. Air rifles and air pistols is a tad easier, so, well, more than a tad easier, so hopefully we'll be able to show you this in a bit of action later. Won't be brilliant though, mind, because it's an indoor job, so bear with me on that. What we got then? We've got a Webley Mark VI Service Revolver. I bet those of you who are into your shooting, air rifles, air pistols especially, will be saying, so what? It's everywhere on the internet. And indeed it is. Although, what you'll find is probably, although there's not much difference, those are the BB smooth bore ones. I'm not interested in BB myself. There's plenty of hobbies going on, so I don't need any more slight variants really. Basically, BB's not accurate enough for me. Not that I'm an expert Olympic target shooter, but I want a bit more accuracy for the limited power which these CO2 pistols have, and variable power, especially when it's cold or you shoot too fast. So I want to, you know, stack the odds a little bit more in my favour, if you like, although, you know, I have my good days and bad days. So then, most of this is as the BB one. The only difference really, well, the major difference is it's got a rifled barrel, so for pellet use. I can't tell you what the rifling is, because there's no information on that, and in fact all the instructions relate to the BB gun. There's no instructions, different instructions to this. It's easy to work out knowing how the BB ones load. This is slightly different. Right then, so what have we got then? Well, it's the battlefield finish one, so it looks a bit used. And if you want to find out about the real things, it's a little bit more awkward to find out about the original .455 or the later, which I think might have been a different mark. I'm not up on my Webley Service Revolver's history, the real things. I think they went down to 38. Very weak cartridge really, but like sort of personal officer's protection, I suppose, at close range, which, you know, nobody wants to beat in the face by a 38 anyway. But I believe it was somewhat weaker than a standard 38 is today. But I dare say you can find out a bit about that on the internet. Great channel to watch for firearms of all sorts, from muzzle loaders, vintage, classic, modern, just about any form or age or period you can think of. Check out the Hickok 45 channel on YouTube. Fantastic, always done safely, always done with some humour generally. Maybe not that funny humour, but it's a good channel to watch, very interesting. Goes into things and of course shoots, and it's in the US, so obviously it's a lot easier to do things over there. But good channel. So there's not much on these though. I don't think there's anything on his channel of these, the real Webleys. But it is an obsolete cartridge in 455. I have seen people using moon clips to hold, I think it's 45 ACP cartridges, to give a similar effect. But search the web, I mean, YouTube is full of all sorts, so have a look there. But to get back to this, it's based on the real thing, as the BB one is, using the original blueprint. It says on the box, based off the original blueprint. It does have a safety. The original wouldn't have had the safety, but the best safety is always in your head, but there's no problem having extra safeties, is there? So that's an addition from the original. It's field strippable apparently. You take one of these screws out and you can take it apart. I don't see any need to be doing that very often. 6-shot, 6-inch barrel. Battlefield finish, as I've probably already said. A decent cardboard box, but not as good as the plastic boxes you get with the Umarex automatics, and arguably the best Umarex licensed, well, let's say copy, and that's the 357 Magnum lookalike. I still think that's the best, but I've only shot this a little bit. And it's probably more expensive than this now, but I still think that's the best performing one for the type So let's have a look inside. The cardboard box is quite decent. It's not as good as the plastic ones you get with some of the Umarex lookalikes, although the catches on those tend to come off anyway with the extensive use. But it's a decent box, and the box will probably be chucked one day, knowing me. So what's we got then? We have a bit of a misnomer here. We have a circular little flyer with the Union Jack on it. It's the Union Jack because it's not the flag size. It's only the Union flag if it's the proper flag size. There you go. Anyway, it's a bit of a misnomer on two counts in a way. Well, in a way, partly because it's made in Taiwan, and so far the finish seems great. The build quality seems great. So Webley have really made sure it's made well and up to the Webley name of old. Webley's finish, certainly, I believe, were used on shotguns, top shotguns like Purdy's. That's how good the Webley bluing was, and I have a Mark III Webley rifle, air rifle, and it's absolutely gorgeous, the finish is. There's nothing to touch it, well, to be honest, even now I don't think. Anyway, the warranty is 3 years. No, it's not. It's 1 year on air guns. It looks great there, doesn't it? Big 3, but it's up to 3. So it's your normal 1 year manufacturer's warranty, I suppose, from that point of view. What else do we get? Well, we get, we'll put that away for a second, we get the instructions, little instruction book, not a lot in it. It does tell you a few details like you expect: safety, training, all the parts to the gun, the safety, which I'll show you on the pistol itself. It's a bit stiff, but it is quite new still. How to load the CO2 cylinder, secure it. Now here's the difference to the loading. I'll point this out now. This is the normal loading. You'd have your BBs and then you'd push down on it with the little, well, I call it a cartridge, but it's not really, it's just a holder, if you like. And the ends would be plastic. I've not looked at these up close, but there's some form of plastic, and there's certainly plenty of videos on the internet showing you how to do it. I think Blackpool Air Rifles did a video on it specifically, instead of just a general one of their videos. And you push on it and load it into the end, and then you load the cartridge by releasing the, well, traditional Webley catch, opening up the gun and loading the cartridge. There's a difference in this, in that you load the pellets at the end nearest what will be, once it's loaded, the hammer. So you'll load it there, but I'll show you that later on. So all these instructions relate to the BB gun, but that's the only real difference really, which is probably why they haven't changed it. It is a bit half-hearted, I suppose. So there's the safety. You engage that by sliding it forward or back, depending on which way you want it to fire or not, but I'll show you that on the gun. And we have the details here of the original and the CO2 revolver. Again, this is the BB one, so there may be a slight difference. Maybe the barrel is heavier because it's rifled one. I don't know about that. Can't compare, and I have no details on that. But 2014 this came out, according to this. The original was produced 1915 to 1921. The caliber is 4.5mm, that's .177 in English, and the original .455. Cylinder capacity 6, that's the same. Steel BB weight here, it says 3.5 grain, and the original bullet weight was 265 grain, so 240. Yeah, I can see why they use. Yeah, I can see why they use, in part anyway, the 45 ACP when they use this in the real firearm, because you can't get the cartridges anymore in 455. Because for a start, the bullet diameter obviously similar, and the grain of the bullet is similar. I think they're generally about 240 grain for a bullet in a 45 ACP cartridge. So I suppose there's certain similarities, not exactly the same of course. Now the muzzle energy in foot-pounds for the BB is 2.1. Not a lot perfectly alright for paper punching, target shooting, knocking tin cans over, that sort of thing. The original, of course, was between 212 and 337 foot-pounds. So to poke you round the 455, original weight 2.1 pounds, that's 1.1 kilogram, and this is 2.4 pounds, the same, 1.1 kilogram. Length, I presume this is overall 11.25 inches, and it says in brackets 286 meters. I presume that's 286 millimeters. Length of the original the same. Plenty of credits where they've been used in films and such. It says Zulu, but if the film was right for the time, this wasn't right for the time, because this was built, the original was way after Zulu. So, but you know, probably has been used, but not correct for the period of the film. But if you want that sort of thing, I'm sure it's easy to find out. The other thing you get is the original, or rather a reprint of the original, Small Arms Training Pamphlet. This one is dated March 1937. Of course, it's a copy, and it gives you all the things as per the British Army: use, aids, cleaning, safety precautions. Again, we've got parts, loading position, absolutely everything. Thumb of left hand pressed against cylinder, barrel held by left hand, knuckles up. I mean, it goes into quite detail exactly how to do it. I suppose there's no argument then, though, I suppose. But yeah, there's not a lot to it, because there's not a lot to the pistol as a whole, or revolver really. This is double action and single action. I generally only shoot single action, to be honest. Oh, it shows you how to do it mounted. So get your horse out when you're doing some target shooting, folks. Shows you how they did it as well. Yeah. So nice. So then, folks, let's have a look at the revolver. We'll start as we load, and then I'll do it in the process. The CO2 we'll start with, I suppose, first. Let's just get rid of these cartridges, because there is a CO2 cartridge in now. I don't think it's got a fat lot in it. It's been a while. So basically, you start with this. Always start with the gun empty in regards to ammunition. There's a little recess here. Just flip it up and pull off the side, the grip there. Now, on this type, and it's different on the Umarex 357 Magnum version, but this keeps the original design and look by doing it this way, of the Webley, of course. Basically, you got the lanyard fixing point there. That is also the screw. Now, I wouldn't really recommend putting a lanyard on there, just in case, if you carry it like that, or have that, you may even have it in a holster with a lanyard around your neck or something, or whatever. That may undo, and then you'll lose your CO2. So there's no point in doing that, because once you puncture the CO2, that's it. It's not resealable. So basically, you slacken that off, drop your CO2 capsule in there, 12 gram these, screw it up so it don't fall out, but I don't screw it up myself tightly at this point. I then, and I suppose this really makes much difference, put the side of the grip back on. You slot it in the groove there at the top with a little locating lug at the end there, push back down. Then I'll just screw it, and if you put it a little bit towards your ear, you can hear it sort of fill the reservoir, if you like, or the valve. You go shh, like that. Should be enough. I have, on the 357 Magnum, I have actually done it too light, and it was just ever so slightly pierced, and it wouldn't fill properly. But that's a different way of loading, and I'll show you that one day. I still reckon that is the best one, but this is probably the best made, I would say. But overall, I think the Umarex 357 Magnum is the best performer. It's probably a little bit more powerful than one of these, but that said, I am using slightly heavier pellets than the BBs. The information I have got is for the BBs. So we're only talking half a pound of power, really, if that. So quite variable, especially with CO2. So we've got the CO2 in. Then it's time to load. Now, what we do, just like the Webley Hurricanes and Typhoons, the original Typhoons and Hurricanes, of course, and the remade Typhoons, not that cheap effort, £50 effort Typhoon. We've got the Webley release catch here, like at the top, like that. Now that may be from an American design, Schneider, was it? And that is on Hickok's channel. I don't know who come up with that first, but it's the same as the Webley air pistols, or rather, the Webley air pistols are the same as the original of these. So you open up, and as you can see, the centre of the chamber opens up. That is an ejector to eject the cartridges, and you can do that. You can flick it open, and they will fly out. But we're not just throwing away the cartridge; we're going to reuse. So open it fully. Then you place your cartridge, your pellets, sorry, into the end there, and then just load up, as you would do with the BB gun. So in other words, you just load the pellet, pointing in the direction of travel of the pellet at the opposite end of the cartridge to the BB gun. That's basically it. I seem to have lost one. Ah, there it is. Okay, there's no pellets in it at the moment. There we go. So folks, we've got single action. Just pull the hammer back. I'll do it with my thumb. It's easy to show you that way. Now I've took the CO2 cartridge out, mainly because, or really only because, the noise it makes upsets the microphone on the video, and then you can't hear me for a few seconds. And I know what you're saying. Thank God for that. I know you can get round it by speaking louder, but try and do it more simply. Plus it needs a new CO2 cartridge anyway. So yeah, we got the single action there. It might sound a bit soft now, but basically what happens is the CO2 in the valve up there come up from the CO2 capsule, and we hit the hammer. In a way, it does like the real thing. It hits a pin that pushes in, and then releases the CO2, much in the way that the pin would hit the primer on a cartridge, causes a spark, sets fire to the powder, causes the explosion, and out goes the bullet. Of course, in this case, it's CO2 chucking a pellet out. Anyway, so that's the single action. Now, what I do find with this is that the trigger is not bad, but of course it's no target pistol trigger, but it's not meant to be, is it? It is smooth, but what I find, especially with the cartridges in, which are quite weighty, it's very easy, I find, to go right past where you want to be. I can't be as smooth. I've got it there, but it's mainly because I'm watching it on the screen as I do it. But in practice, I find that I get so far and can't stop myself and just go straight through. I tend to pull right generally. I'm snatching at it a bit. So I don't generally use that anyway. Now the Umarex 357 Magnum is probably, well it is. It's easier to do the double action because you don't turn the whole cylinder. You only turn what really is a magazine at the front. So it's a lot lighter. And even that I struggle with myself. Again, I generally use single action. Now that isn't a bad thing because it slows you down a little. And that helps you with your CO2 to be more consistent. Nice, steady shots. And when I've done tests with many CO2 and indeed air, compressed air rifles, I take a little pause between, and especially with the CO2, I leave it 30 seconds to rest, then I take the next shot, 30 seconds to rest, take the next shot. Now I can't. In use for, as per the CO2 use, this is about as good as the Umarex 357 Magnum. You can get 42 useful shots out of this quite easily. You may even stretch that to 48, but you're going to be tailing off then. It is very, very good. Of course, it's a shame they're not made in Brum, or frankly, just south of Brum anymore, but it does seem, so far, very good quality. and for my shooting, reasonably accurate. Right folks, I'm using Air Arms Field 452, which is my general use for more or less everything, unless I want to go a little bit lighter for weaker guns. And maybe this could do with a lighter pellet, but we're just trying it now. I have cleaned the bore, which I hadn't done before, which I generally do before I shoot every air gun. I know the sound will be affected, so bear with me on that. It's a bit wayward to say the least, but that's probably me. Now I'm going to go double action. I'm only shooting single-handed. So I'm struggling with that. Really struggling. Just snatching it all the time. Made a right mess of that. I've also got a speed loader, which was the only way I could get some spare cartridges. I hope you can see this. Just drop this in like that. Now the cartridges, spare ones, are expensive. They're about 25 quid. But as the price wasn't known with the speed loader, I got it for a lot less than that. Just single action now. Still pulling it to the right. Look at how many I've shot now. And well, still pulling it. I know the sound will be affected, so bear with me on that. It's a bit wayward to say the least, but that's probably me. Now I'm going to go double action. I'm only shooting single-handed. So I'm struggling with that. Really struggling. Just snatching it all the time. Made a right mess of that. I got it for a lot less than that. Just single action now. Still pulling it to the right. Look at how many I've shot now. I know. Well, still pulling it, but there you can see it's not bad. I need more practice with it. So there you are folks, the Webley Mark VI Service Revolver, based on the 1915 original blueprint, the rifled version. As you can see on the left, there's the speed loader with the spare cartridges. As I said, you're looking about 25 quid just for the cartridges, when you can get them. They didn't know the price of the speed loader and the cartridges, so they give me a good price as I bought the revolver at the same time. Costs of the revolver do vary. In general, they seem to be about £20 more than the BB version for the rifled version. I've seen it for like £199, 200 quid. This was more than that, but it did mean a local buy instead of driving up to Blackpool and back, which is something in the region of, I don't know, 220 miles. So obviously that was the cheaper option. So I'll say between 200 and 225 for the revolver. It's cardboard box, of course. One set of cartridges, 6 of them, and the instructions. But bear in mind, those instructions will be for the BBs, as I said earlier in the video. Of course, that may change. So there you are, a nice revolver. I think it does pull to the right more than I'm pulling it to the right. But really, as there's no adjustment in the sights, it's a simple matter of holding slightly further to the left. But so far, good quality, reasonably accurate, but it's a bit too early to say. I mean, it's only about I've only took about 60 shots through it at the moment. Not very slowly, quite rapidly, and it's took me about an hour just to set the video up in the right place to do it. So it isn't as easy as doing a mechano video, of course. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, folks. I will get around to doing more shooting, but don't hold your breath. Bye for now.